Beautiful spot, eh?
Incredible. George,
Max,
I hear you want to taste the original CocoMax.
you heard right, my friend.
It's down in El Zante at La Cajita Kitchen. How do you suggest we get there?
Well, I think I've got an idea, fellas.
What do you think?
How about a chopper ride?
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Let's do it.
All right. You've done this before, Max?
A few times. I know this guy. This guy, Jamie, how's it going? I understand you're the pilot taking us down to El Zante.
Yes.
That's incredible. It looks pretty serious. How do we get in? Where do I sit? Where's everybody sitting? So this isn't like that movie Scarface where you're taking me up 1,000 feet and then putting a rope around my neck and throwing me out. That's not what's happening, is it?
I thought that's what we were doing.
Oh my God,
That was
George.
my understanding.
Yeah, Juan says no way, no way.
All right.
It's his idea.
Let's go get a CocoMax.
Let's get a CocoMax. Yeah.
Goes over like that, and it locks into place.
I'll do it all out. So George, you know, Satstreet, which is taking El Salvador by storm. Tell us about Satstreet. You guys are located and moved to El Salvador.
Yeah.
And so first of all, what is Satstreet?
So, first of all, we're a Canadian-based company. We launched back in 2020. Prior to launching Satstreet, the two co-founders actually helped build out one of Canada's largest retail exchanges. And we sort of had a very simple idea, which is to provide the best level of service for high-volume Bitcoin transactions. You know, when you look at a retail exchange, you're sort of a drop in an ocean. And when you're sending large amounts of money to an exchange, at least back then, there certainly wasn't the sort of service in place to give you the sort of experience you deserve. So we decided to launch Satstreet as a white glove brokerage, facilitating transactions ranging from 25,000 on the small side to 100 million plus. Targeting high net worth individuals, accredited permitted investors, institutions, and corporations. And we built a really successful business in Canada, processing billions in transactions, hundreds of millions assets under custody. And the evolution to El Salvador was one that was organic, to be honest with you. We had a lot of clients leaving Canada for all the obvious reasons. This was under the Trudeau regime. And we had some big clients starting to leave, including my father. He had left, and at first he went to Panama, like a lot of guys do. But he didn't love Panama. He didn't love the environment. He didn't love the business climate. It wasn't home, but it was sort of his launch pad. And I was down at Bitcoin Miami, and you were there too, but we didn't know each other yet. And obviously that was, 21 when Bukele made the big announcement? So Bukele makes the big announcement. I get on the line right away with my dad. I said, "Hey, Dad, did you hear the big announcement?" He's a Bitcoiner, obviously. He goes, "No." I said, "Well, the president of El Salvador just made Bitcoin legal tender. Who the hell is this guy that did such a wild thing?" And, you know, he's an entrepreneur. My dad, he's a private investor, business owner. And he's got a real entrepreneurial spirit. So for him, when he heard that, he said, "You know what? I'm going to hop on a plane and go check this place out firsthand." You know, so he did. And the joke is he sort of never left. He was supposed to go down for 2 weeks, and here we are many years later. So with Satstreet, again, I say it's sort of organic in that, you know, my father moved first. But like I mentioned, we had all of these clients leaving Canada for all the reasons. So for us, in order for us to be able to maintain taking care of those clients, we actually set up offshore in the BVI and got registered as what's called a VASP. Boring stuff, but it allowed us to be regulated in a way that we could service more jurisdictions outside of Canada. So my dad, being an entrepreneur, was coming down here, starting to invest, starting to do things in the community, fell in love with El Salvador, fell in love with Bukele, not literally, but he would run into people that would say, "Oh, we're having issues getting, you know, a Bitcoiner that wants to buy a large piece of land down here or a property." And there was liquidity issues, right? Getting Bitcoin into dollars, into the local bank accounts, big challenge. He would sort of send me the odd guy that was having an issue, and we would, and I would take care of those transactions, and found very quickly that we had the we had the facility to take care of that bottleneck in El Salvador very quickly. So we started doing the odd real estate transactions, the odd purchase of Bitcoin locally, and we had great success getting funds into the banks quickly because that's what we do. We deal in big amounts, and we're experts at dealing with bank compliance and all of that fun stuff. And I would start coming down at this point to visit my dad at Christmas, and you sort of realize when you come down here that it's not just a business opportunity. It's a wonderful country with wonderful people, with a real bullish trajectory and the safety and everything about it. I always say, I feel much safer walking down the streets of San Salvador than I do downtown Toronto, and the stats show that too. But you feel it. So it all kind of converged, right? I had family here, fell in love with the country. I started to make frequent trips to start helping and doing more and more of these transactions. And we said, fuck it, pardon the French. Let's get set up here. Let's not just be passive, supporters. Let's lean in. Let's get set up. Let's incorporate in El Salvador. Let's get regulated with CNAD, which phenomenal regulatory system. They're tough. They don't make it easy, but they're really willing to help and make things happen. So we set up down here, started to lean into doing more and more transactions, both not just sell side, not just Bitcoiners selling to buy real estate, but also buy side, helping people buy Bitcoin in size. We've been operational here for about a year, officially and formally. We've done tens and tens of millions in transactions. On the buy and the sell side of Bitcoin. We just love it here, right? And beyond just, Satstreet helping facilitate these transactions, we also have a lot of clients that are looking for an environment like this from Canada that want, an opportunistic, beautiful place to come down and live that's safe for their families and can actually help build up an economy and not just be greedy bastards that are profiteers, but also in coming down and rolling out businesses in their respective fields and expertise, also help lifting up a local community. And I think that is such a unique part of this country is you can come down here and build a successful business, but while you do it, you're employing people, you're helping flood the local economy with dollars and so on. So we're here and we love it, and I couldn't be more excited.
In addition to the financial services that you're offering, you're also a gateway to El Salvador, and this is a message that appeals to Canadians because of the security, because of the freedoms that they are maybe being pressured in Canada and being removed. I think a lot of people would say the environment politically is becoming untenable for many people. So they're looking for places to go, and El Salvador is at the top of that list for the security, absolutely. Are people surprised when you talk to them that the homicide rates dropped 99%?
Oh, blown away. If you Google El Salvador through a Canadian browser, there's still a travel warning for safety. Like, people are completely brainwashed. So it takes, a company like us that are down here, and my family, and we have, experience living here, to have some credibility and say, what you're reading is bullshit. This place is far safer than Canada. And it actually feels more like Canada did culturally when I grew up.
Right, Canada was always a conservative country of family values. And the Canadian personality as such was always characterized as being very nice, and open. And but now it seems that there's a lot of political strife going on, and folks are really unhappy there. So they're looking for places, and El Salvador is at the top of that list. Particularly interesting. So you work with the local banks, and the local banks who might not want to deal necessarily in Bitcoin, you help them make that transition from Bitcoin or whatever into dollars, right?
Correct. Yeah. So a big challenge down here is on the banking side. I wouldn't say that the local banks are hostile against Bitcoin like they are in, say, somewhere like Canada. But they're a little bit hesitant, understandably. They don't understand, fully, they haven't wrapped their head around it from a compliance, AML, KY, all that stuff. And so, one of the things that we bring to the table is we speak that language, especially as it pertains to larger transactions, and being able to get those compliance teams what they need to settle into client accounts quickly. And so, I always say it's an art, not a science, dealing with banks. Every compliance officer has a different, thing that they maybe want. Every client's a little bit different. But we work hand in hand with our clients and their banks to get things done quickly and smoothly. And I think that's the big key here is, Satstreet, we hold your hand as much as you need it from front to back, from the time that we start a transaction, from the time that you onboard, all the way through to funds landing in your account or Bitcoin landing in your cold wallet.
Now, the first time I met your dad, John McBride, he was sitting in a cold plunge pool, and he had been there apparently for 25 minutes, and he has the national record to be the plunge pool master. He claims that he sees Satoshi when he's in the plunge pool, the ice-cold plunge pool. Has he ever shared with you his visions and hallucinations that he has of Satoshi when he's doing his ice-cold plunge pool?
Well, he has, how there's acid flashbacks? He has cold plunge Satoshi flashbacks. So yes, it's something that I have to deal with frequently as someone that not only is he my old man and my dad, who I love dearly, but also a business partner. And so, Satoshi flashbacks are a real issue in the McBride household right now.
Wow, incredible. So now you guys actually are sponsoring 3 holes at the Max and Stacy Invitational, January 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's an event that features golf, pickleball, poker, and an all-day outdoor party at the club. What are your expectations for that?
Well, I went last year. We were not sponsors. We couldn't make it in time. We wanted to be, but anyways, we're pumped. It's a beautiful event. It's a lot of fun. The quality of the attendees is awesome. Everyone's on the same page, pro-freedom, pro-Bitcoin, pro-Bukele, and it's just a load of fun. So I couldn't recommend it enough, and we're excited to participate.
Now, where we're going right now is La Cajita restaurant in El Zante. It's only 3 months old. It's already established itself as the premier destination in Zante, if not the entire country. And we're going to talk about a couple of events you guys might be interested in taking a close look at. One is the January 16th event, which is, we'll talk more about it. And then we're also looking to do a major international focused event later in mid-2026 and really make El Zante, put it on the global surfing map. So it's something to discuss with our friends over at Cajita, Fabrice and Antoine. Those are the 2 main guys. They're French. They're actually from the Bretagne, so they're very expert in, of course, crepes. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they would have sister relationships to Montreal and Canada, which we've been to. Do you speak French?
Un petit peu.
Un petit peu, oui. C'est vrai. C'est monsieur qui parle le français. Moi, j'habite à Paris depuis 14 années, donc je parle bien. C'est vrai. Et maintenant, on va du restaurant La Cajita, oui, et manger au hamburger, et peut-être we put les Américains, we put the ketchup on the hamburger, et manger comme les Français. Oui, bien sûr, et une petite coque madame. Vous aimez les coques madame? Oui, oui, oui. Ok, on y va. Bien, bien, bien. That on? Are you taping?
Yeah.
Okay, it's on? The sound's on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just hop in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jamie's here.
Yep.
Jamie, you crawling in?
Sticking the pilot in the back. I know.
All right, so we landed here in Zante, El Zante, and we've got the Satstreet crew and Jamie, the pilot. Jamie, how was the ride?
Quick ride from El Encanto to El Sante. Yeah, it's very easy. Yeah.
So when you're up there, was there any turbulence or anything? Or
Well, you tell me.
I mean, I felt smooth as silk. I was totally comfortable. And now we're heading to La Cajita
For a
kitchen for a CocoMax. And I think the crew is all here. We're getting ready to go.
So quick question, Jamie.
Yep.
Will you guys be supporting at Cielo Norte shuttles of this kind? Say between El Encanto or any private shuttle between San Salvador and other places in the country? Is that something you guys...
Yeah, absolutely. Basically any sort of air taxi. Yeah, anywhere you want to go within the country. And the beautiful thing about where we're located at Salamanca is it's right in the heart of the country, and you can get to either tip of the country within 45 minutes. And most places are well under 20, 10. Like today was just 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So definitely going to be high demand for that. I can see, and folks moving here now. You guys, you were saying that if your white glove service, your concierge service over there at Satstreet, so you were helping not only your clients with transactions and things, but also networking locally.
Yeah, so one of the most amazing things about El Salvador and its business climate is there's a real effort by both private and public sector to help. And it sounds maybe a little bit cheesy, but it's true. You come down here and you need to get something done, and people open up doors to make things happen, including the government, which is really refreshing, right? Like the attitudes down here is, how do we get to a yes? There's no shortcuts, but how do we get to a yes versus how do we stay at a no in a place like Canada? So for me, and just sort of naturally with our clients at Satstreet, a lot of them have done well in different areas of in different sectors and so on. And they see us down here and they're intrigued. So we bring them down and show them what sort of opportunity is down here and how not only can they find something that might be economically attractive to them, but also how do we line it up so it's lock and step with what the government's looking to achieve and what the country needs. So yeah, a big part of what we're doing is trying to connect the right people with the right the right clients, the right people down here, and so that they can bring down their expertise and help build up this amazing country. And I think not to get into the whole fiat system mentality, but everyone's miserable, and there's bureaucrats and there's a lot of different roles in government and regulations where people have to justify their existence and make problems and create problems out of nothing, and that doesn't exist here, right? Again, everything.
Well, I heard
I've
somebody
seen,
say, let me jump in here for a second.
Yeah, go.
That there's no legacy players. In other words, typically when you show up in a new country, there's already established players in place, and if you want to open a business or something, there's already folks there that have maybe a monopoly or an oligopoly. They're already there. They're already established. But here in El Salvador, it's wide open. Is that a fair characterization?
Absolutely. It's a blank slate country that because of they uprooted all of the crime and the gangs, now there's a blank slate left where there's a populace that's excited, optimistic, and looking for a better future. And there's a lot to build. There's a lot to get done down here. And when there's a lot to get done, there's a lot of opportunity.
To focus on the character of the nation.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Europeans or maybe Canadians, there is kind of this idea that the state is going to help us out. It's a state is the majority of the GDP in Europe, I guess also in Canada. In the US and here in El Salvador, it's more of an entrepreneurial spirit where you don't want the state involved. The state should be minimalized. Help me get my water, my electricity, what have you. But I just want to be free to build my business and to grow the economy. That's what I have found here. Yeah. Is this what you have found?
100%. You're not shackled by, again, bureaucracy, government overreach. You have the flexibility and the freedom to actually operate and launch a business with relative ease. Again, they want to do things the right way down here, but they're absolutely not building it the wrong way like they've already done in the West. And the beautiful thing is Bukele, he's got an opportunity and he's captured it where he can look at every country in the West that's going wrong and say, what do I just have to do the opposite? And that's what he's doing. He's building an oasis for entrepreneurs and folks that value freedom and family and it's just a wonderful place to be.
Well, I think Bukele has turned the idea of being a small country from a disadvantage to his advantage.
Yeah.
And so maneuverability is quite high. His popularity is over 90%. His party, New Ideals Party, is heavily represented in the assembly. They can get things done quickly, and they listen to entrepreneurs. They don't come with a pre-cooked idea of what's good, what's bad. They listen to entrepreneurs and they try to, he's really what we say, he's a startup CEO of a startup nation. That's the feeling I think a lot of entrepreneurs have. Has that been your experience?
100%. This place is nimble. You said it best. It's like a small startup that can pivot, that can move, and can execute, where these big, giant countries that have been around for a long time, large bureaucracies, they're not nimble, they're slow, and they're dying. And this place is thriving. So.
Right, they are dying in the fiat money world. I often say it's the end of a 300-year experiment with central banks, fiat money, and here, they made Bitcoin legal tender. And Bitcoin is really, because of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve here in El Salvador, everybody at least has heard the name, so there's that awareness. So I say adoption here is 100%, because once you start thinking about Bitcoin, it changes the way you think. You start thinking about saving for the future,
100%.
which is completely different from fiat money, which is I need to spend as quickly as possible because the value of this purchasing power of this fiat money is going down. I have found that people are actually optimistic, and I have to really believe that the Bitcoin ethos is a big part of that.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. The fiat system that we all came up in, and most of us have only been exposed to, only encourages thinking about what's right in front of me and not the future. And Bitcoin enables something that exists outside the system to store your wealth, store your hard work and your time and your energy for the future. So, and you're right, it's reflected everywhere you look. People are looking to build for the long term here, for their families, and aren't looking inward selfishly, which the fiat system encourages. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's an ethos to Bitcoin, and the president here, President Bukele, certainly understands it. I often say that you can't have capitalism without capital, and you can't have capital without savings, and you can't have savings without giving people an interest rate on their savings. With Bitcoin, the Keiser rate, annualizing at 30, 40, 50%, that's certainly a nice rate of return from my savings account in my Bitcoin.
I'd say so.
And your clients over there at Satstreet, they are fully on board with Bitcoin. Is there a learning curve for them? They arrive fully?
No. A big part of what we do is education, right? It's not like everyone comes ready to go and to buy some Bitcoin. A lot of it is educational based, and so it's a spectrum, and that's a big thing about, or a big part of what we do is, we're able to take someone who's ready to buy, $1 million of Bitcoin, and we're ready to also take someone who's, hey, what is Bitcoin?
We're here. We're going to get out. This is the original Cajita.
When did you say this moved from this location over here?
Less than 3 months ago. It's pretty much completely full to capacity, 6 nights a week.
Look at this view, eh?
This is it. This is the best view in El Zonte. This is where the river meets the ocean. So we're going to have our surf competition. The one on January 16th. It's called La Cajita Express. But once we're here, it's kind of, you begin to kind of melt into the
You really do.
The waves and just kind of get all natural.
It's funny because the lifestyle in El Encanto. So when you go from the beach, you sort of get acclimated here, and as you said, you melt into the vibe. And then you go to El Encanto, and it takes a bit to get back into that groove. But then you fall in love with that. Going to the gym in the morning, the beautiful facilities, the excellent food. Again, that sort of neighborhood feeling.
Yeah.
And then you come back here and you melt away again. That's why I love the pace of business down here is great. Everyone the entrepreneurial stuff and everyone's go, 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 go. But you can kind of shift gears pretty quickly and go into the beach mode and, and then back to a meeting at El Encanto, back to the city. And it's a really wonderful just way to versus sitting in an office in downtown Toronto, freezing your ass off.
Hey.
That's what I'm normally doing.
Plus there's the mountains here.
Yeah.
You get a whole nother altitude, a whole nother ecosystem. It's very cool, great views up in the volcanoes. And so you really have 5, 6 different altitudes. It's like the president says El Salvador is, whatever altitude, you pick your altitude, whatever weather you want. You want to be in the beach, you want to be up in the volcano, or anything in between. It's all 45 minutes away. Hey, Antoine, come on up.
How are you?
Come on in, man. Antoine.
Good to see you.
This is George McBride.
George McBride, nice
Antoine,
to meet you.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, Antoine and his dad Fabrice started La Cajita down the road, and they're now in this location, which has got to be the premier location.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the best location around. We got the best view, we got really good food, really good team. We got a really good team of partners as well, and yeah, we're over here, man.
Yeah, it's happening.
Beautiful spot.
You liking it?
No question. This is the nicest spot I've seen.
Right on, right on.
So then we want to talk to you about something. Let me put my entrepreneurial cap on.
All right.
Okay, we're going to pitch you on something.
Yeah, pitch me.
All right. So we're thinking that on January 16th, Antoine, who's really tuned in to the surfing community here, has an idea for kind of a local surfing event, and he'll tell you more about the details. But what the pitch basically is, that we're looking for one main sponsor.
So it's going to be called the La Cajita Express. It's an expression session. Expression sessions in surfing aren't like typical surf contests. It's going to be a 2-hour session, 1 hour session with 5 guys, another hour session with 5 guys right here out front. And it'll be 3 categories that can win. You can get the best air, the best combination of maneuvers, or the best turn. And yeah, we're still talking about the prize money for those 3 categories. And I've invited 10 of the best surfers from around here. They've all confirmed that they're going to be participating. Awesome. And yeah, we got Brian Perez, the really famous Olympian surfer who represented El Salvador in the Olympics. We got Erickson Ortiz. We got a crap load of really, really good surfers that are going to put on a show over here for everybody, enjoying their drinks. And
Max, will you surf?
There's a special prize, which we're not supposed to be talking about yet, for the best wipeout. And I think I could be competitive for the best wipeout. Here's the CocoMax.
Okay, this is the moment.
All right, there you go.
Cheers. Thank you, my friend.
Let's check it out.
Good.
Yeah, this looks like a good one.
That looks real good. The new coffee machine is making some high quality coffee.
That's fantastic.
Right?
That is truly fantastic. I'm not just saying it because he's here. Okay? I mean that. This is awesome.
This is
So
the
excited.
invention that made El Salvador famous.
Yeah.
You know, before the CocoMax, people had heard a little bit about El Salvador and President Bukele and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then once the CocoMax hit the international scene, then all hell broke loose. The flights were sold out. People coming internationally. I want a CocoMax. I want it here like at the kitchen.
I noticed that's when Avianca had flights 7 days a week
Oh.
from Toronto. It was right after that. So
That's right. 7 days a week. Canadians, come here for the CocoMax. Forget Canada's done. It's toast. The Maple Leafs will never win the Stanley Cup, and the politicians are shit. Come here and drink
agree with that
this
part.
and see the Satoshi future. It's brilliant. It's sunny. Am I right?
You're really good at that.
I'm damn good at it. I
You
know
just
what
got
I'm
me
doing.
fired up, and I don't even know what
yeah,
the
you
Maple
lost
Leafs
me at
are. All
the
that.
Leafs part, but everything else sounds good to me.
Here's another diehard Leaf fan. There's nothing sadder in the world.
God.
Okay, Don Cherry. They got rid of Don Cherry.
Oh,
that was
no.
the moment Canada died.
You're right.
Am I right?
You're
We're getting a
100%
Max
right.
Keiser rant right now. It's amazing.
No, you're 100% right.
You get a free
What
rant.
they did to that man is unbelievable.
Yeah, Don
just
Cherry,
shows
who's
you.
one of the legendary coaches in the NHL, coached the Boston Bruins to a Stanley Cup victory at least once, maybe twice. And was very famous for his sartorial expertise. He wears these outrageous jackets and ties. That's where I got my inspiration. People say, "What, Max? Why do you dress like a lunatic?" Because I got the idea from Don Cherry. That's the guy. That's my inspiration. So he said something that was completely anodyne on TV. Didn't insult a fly.
No.
And they said, "Oh, we need to get this guy off TV." And then that moment forward, the country went straight down. Am I right?
You're right. It was symbolic to sort of the peak of the madness in Canada. But I still think that it's too far gone.
It's too far gone.
It's too far gone.
It's too far gone.
So yeah, El Salvador is really the only place that I've been where it feels like there's only blue skies and upward to go.
Well, during COVID, the number one immigration population were Canadians.
Yeah.
You know, we saw that,
They're everywhere.
right?
Yeah.
That was the number one because it got so bad in Canada. The trucker strike, Bitcoin played a huge role during that
Yeah.
to give the ability to insulate yourself from the banks that were just debanking people.
Yeah.
And so they flocked to El Salvador. And like yourself, you know, you're kind of part of that wave, right?
100%.
How long have you been here?
Almost 5 years. My family's been coming down here. I'm actually now a citizen. My family, we're all citizens, and my business, Satstreet, we've been here now for about a year, so we're all in. Now I'm still living in Canada part time. I got to get my girlfriend, who's a lawyer, licensed down here, and still got some selling to do. Max, maybe you can help me, but no, this is where I'm ultimately want to be and raise my family and. I think I'm a true Salvadoran at heart. So
Antoine,
Let's go.
you guys came from
Yeah, we came from France originally.
Right.
Then we lived in California for 20 years before moving here about 2.5 years ago. And yeah, I got my daughter over here. My daughter was born in El Salvador, so she's Salvadorian. My wife and my dad and I are here. I love this place so much. I used to come here just for surfing and figured it would be the right call to drag my family into a positive situation in a country that's, like you said, upward and onward and new beginnings for everybody.
Yeah, well, the story is that I was talking to Rick, who also is our partner on this, and we were looking for a place in El Zante, do a restaurant. He comes up to me and he says, I think I found it. Let's go down to El Zante. I want to introduce you to Fabrice and Antoine. So I came down here, and the second I heard that French accent, I was sold. Because I lived in France for 14 years. And you know, I love France. I love French people. I love French food. So I heard the French accent, and then I had a crepe. And I'm like, God damn it, this is good. Then it turns out they got a 5-star rating on Instagram. And so then we were like, you know what? Then they heard about this location, which is expansion. So then we got, I guess 3 months ago, we went forward and got this place up and running, and Fabrice and Antoine have done an amazing job. So Antoine, as I said, he's very, very plugged into the surfing community and the La Cajita Express. We're looking for January 16th. We give Satstreet the exclusive as the sponsor.
We would love to participate, and I'm very interested at the right number.
Okay, good enough. We'll sidebar that. As your wife's a lawyer, she'll know what that means. All right, cool. Well, I think we've covered all the bases here.
Yeah.
And the thing about Zante is once you're here for like 30 minutes, you start to melt into the waves.
You do.
And decide that maybe the thing to do is to just shut the fuck up and meditate for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And get right with the sun and the waves. You know, it's very meditative. And I'm feel myself drifting there now.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Well, cheers.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing me down, for having my first CocoMax. This thing is unreal.
Heck yeah.
And that was a lot of fun, Max. So thank you very much.
It was nice to meet you, brother.
Great to
Yeah,
meet you.
really good.
Thank you.